I'm Danica Tormolen, reporting for the Society of Independent Show Organizers. I'm here with Doug Emslie, CEO of the Tarsus Group, producer of the biennial Dubai Airshow, which opened on Sunday. It's the first major aviation show since the pandemic. This year, there are more than 100 companies from the U.S., including defense firms like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. To provide some context, Al Jazeera reported earlier this week it comes as an opportunity for the hard-hit aviation sector, traditionally the star of the 5-day aviation trade show that is expected to attract more than 80,000 visitors. The airline industry as a whole is recovering from last year's roughly $138 billion net loss. So welcome, Doug. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Danny. It's a great pleasure to be here in Dubai in the sun. It's a pleasure to get away from the weather in the UK.
So tell us a little bit. The show opened on Sunday. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening for the last couple of days.
So just a little bit of context. So the Dubai Airshow opens Sunday. We've got just over 1,250 exhibitors. In terms of comparing that to 2 years ago, the show is up about 10%. So we're seeing growth on 2019. What we're super excited about is the aircraft. We've got a total of 175 aircraft being physically displayed on the runway, which is the largest number ever displayed in history. So that's really exciting. For me personally, on Sunday, I was really excited to meet Charlie Duke, who is the astronaut on Apollo 16, who is only one of 4 astronauts still alive who walked on the moon, and he was the youngest, is the youngest at the young age of 86.
That's incredible. That's great that he was at the show. That is truly incredible. So I didn't hear the growth on from over 2019. You said you have about 1,250 exhibitors, and what was the growth on that?
That's 10% growth.
10%. That is also incredible, especially coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, and what we've been really excited to see is that the industry is coming back. It's coming back strongly. It's coming face to face. There is a lot more order writing than anticipated, right, which is the key thing, obviously, around the shows. And the two sort of trends we're seeing is around technology and sustainability, and advancements that are being made in those are really driving the purchasing, the whole plan of moving net carbon, moving physically in front of us in terms of the investments by the industry to get us there over that period of time. So it's very, very gratifying to see it face to face.
Yes. What I did read. So yesterday, I read that Airbus booked a sale of 255 new aircraft. That was just one of the deals, and that was a deal valued at $30 billion. There was another deal for Nigeria's Overland Airways, $299 million contract. So tell us about that idea of trade shows and the place to get deals done.
I mean, historically in this industry and aerospace industry, Dubai has been where people actually are signing contracts, because this is a region where you've got a lot of buying, whether Emirates or Etihad or Qatar. And what we're really excited about some of the new stuff seeing. So, for example, Boeing have displayed the new 777X. It's the first time the plane has been out of Seattle, and it flew Saturday all the way from Seattle into Dubai to be dispatched on Sunday. And we're hopeful of some exciting news in terms of orders coming on the 7X. So that is exciting. We're all seeing for the first time a lot of Israeli companies, because you might recall last November the GCC region signed a new agreement with Israel. So this is the time the companies have been able to attend the Dubai Airshow, and we're seeing some major technology sales happening on that side. So we've seen a lot of new business, but also I think what we're seeing is a lot of confidence in terms of an industry that hasn't been able to get together for 2 years, who historically have got together and done transactions. And these are very large transactions where they're seeing the planes or the technology. And the only way to do that efficiently, face to face, is at a show. It's not something that you can do in a Zoom call. You don't spend $200 million Zoom call.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's exciting. So we've got some new products. We've also got Israeli companies exhibiting for the first time. I did see that, which is again why I saw the report from Al Jazeera. They talked about that recent deal that so Israeli companies were there. Tell us a little bit about maybe some of the challenges that you had in getting this show done during a pandemic, and some of the health and safety measures, because I'm sure that is still an important part of the show.
Yeah, I mean the health and safety has definitely been a priority, and that the UAE government have been incredibly supportive in terms of procedures, in terms of the local population. I think that they're in the mid 90% in terms of vaccination levels. A lot of their residents have had up to 4 different vaccinations. So they have done a fantastic job at getting everybody vaccinated. The procedure to get into the country are not dissimilar to Europe, America, and PCR testing. Proper procedures have been put in place, and the number of cases have been low as a result. And what we've seen in terms of challenges is really responding to the evolution of the different rules in terms of going back 4 weeks ago. We're looking at whether we were going to have to actually do testing to get into the show. They and other pilot events in the region and concluded that they did to do that. We've had a very efficient process in terms of registration, which means that actually everything is done in advance, because get into the show, you have to be pre-cleared by security. So basically it was all being done electronically, and over 9% of attendees have been getting their badges done in advance. So it was basically meaning that we have limited lines to get in, and we will be probably hitting about 90,000 people over the 5 days. So attendance at the moment is running double digit ahead of 2019.
Wow. That is incredible. So obviously the health and safety measures have been easy to accomplish for people. I mean, get done, and people haven't had any trouble getting into the country.
Correct. And I mean, what's interesting, since the travel corridors were opened, and I apologize for background noise, we have the display going on live behind me. The number of people coming to buy the passenger traffic has doubled in the last month. So what we're seeing now is airport traffic roughly at about 60% of 2019 levels. That has got there in a very short period of time as travel corridors have opened up for Europe, and particularly the UK and India being number one and number two into Dubai.
Travel is really ramped up. Aviation travel is ramping up very quickly.
Very quickly. And that again has been led by the government policies here in the UAE to give other governments the confidence to open up corridors. And I think the other thing to put into the mix is that Dubai is the host of the World Expo, which opened a month ago, and already in the first month, over 3 million visitors to the expo. So you're again seeing a demonstration of the confidence in terms of what the government done in terms of opening up their economy. Message coming from the ruler on Monday was that Dubai is very much open for business.
Well, that's a good message for the rest of the world, right? That's still ramping up as countries reopen around the globe, like we saw in Singapore.
But I mean, the UAE in particular is leading the way. It's a fantastic example to the rest of the world.
Wonderful. And then also I wanted to just ask you, what else are you looking forward to over, as the show the next couple of days?
Well, there's lots of exciting things. I think on the G side, we have got 8 new companies, startup companies. We're running various competitions. We're bringing in investors, a bit like Shark Tank, where they're picking. We've seen on the space side a massive increase in terms of space. I'm delighted yesterday we signed an agreement with the Dubai Show and the UAE Space Agency, where they will rapidly expanding their presence at our next show, and that space will be one of the major themes of the 2023 Airshow. And carrying that theme today, Charlie, who I spoke about earlier, presented the first ever award to the US to aerospace camp, and actually work with astronauts and actually see what an astronaut life is like. So it's bringing, if you like, youth who are going to be the astronauts of tomorrow together. So it's just fantastic to see enthusiasm around that.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I want to ask you one more question. You mentioned that sustainability is driving, some of the purchases and what's going on in the aviation industry, just like it is in the trade show industry, right? Right. SISO recently supported the net zero events, as well as, I believe, Tarsus as a company, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that, and maybe why that's important.
Well, if we're to reach our sort of target, which obviously has been very much in the news in terms of 26, aviation has got a huge part to play in that, and that's what's driving a lot of purchasing. Is that a lot of the airlines are getting rid of their old fleets. Obviously, very friendly to the environment. They're getting newer, efficient, more carbon friendly, and also changing to more green oriented fuels. So there's major work done um, to ensure that actually going to hit the targets. And I'm really pleased to say that all of the big players in the industry are getting behind that. It's not going to be a one-off fad. These are major structural changes being made to the industry, so that actually we hit the target, and it's not going to be sort of any form of greenwashing, but fundamental change in terms of actually how planes operate and how they're fueled.
Great. Wonderful. Well, congratulations. I know this is you're in a great spot being the first aviation show, but you've already produced several events for Tarsus throughout the pandemic. So congratulations and for leading the way for the rest of the industry to follow and showing how it can be done successfully.
Thank you, Danica. Great to speak to you. And I'm very pleased to in here and I've been able to show that actually events are coming back strongly and that what can be done.